Hello there, I'm Colleen.
I'm Anders.
And I'm Daniel.
We're three nerds that met through our love of science fiction and fantasy storytelling. Of course, one of our favorites is George Lucas's signature achievement, Star Wars.
And if there's one thing the internet definitely doesn't have enough of, it's nerds talking about Star Wars. So here we are with yet another Star Wars podcast, where each week we discuss one of the films in the current Star Wars canon.
From the sands of Tatooine to the levels of Coruscant, we cover it all. Yet another Star Wars podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and is part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And join us every Thursday for a new episode of Two Player Bros, a podcast about two guys who play way too many video games. Join me and Dave as we talk about the latest in Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and VR news, previews, and reviews. We have it all, and we play it all.
And join us every other week for Post Game, where we play through and dive deep into our favorite modern classics and new releases.
That's Two Player Bros, available every Thursday wherever you get your podcast, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hello there, and welcome Nerdy Knights at the well-rounded table to Bohemian Geek Studies, where we take extremely darky dives into our favorite fandoms. I'm Colleen McMillan, Jedi Master and Rebel Scum collaborator.
And I am Pirate Jedi, Anders Drew. But no matter what rank you carry, one thing will always remain constant. Much to learn, we still have.
You're darn right. So much to learn, especially about Kallus. Let's learn everything about him. This season on Bohemian Geek Studies, we're taking our detailed darky dive into Star Wars Rebels. Today, we're diving into Season 3, Episodes 10 and 11, and Inside Man, and Visions and Voices. Spooky.
We have done our best to scramble our signal, and we will be avoiding spoilers for future episodes of Rebels, but I will throw an adult content warning for the younglings. Flo's
we are
here, and
an
she gets
inside
to be...
man today.
Flo gets to be happy about Kallus this week, everybody. So, but without further ado, let's hop on board the Phantom 2 and see what Agent Kallus has been up to as we explore our holocrons of knowledge. Colleen, let's punch it with that first holocron.
Excellent. We're heading into our first holocron, which is the Journal of the Wills, where we go over the plot and episode synopses for the episodes this week. Starting off with an Inside Man. This will never not be funny now. Kanan, Ezra, and Chopper are back on Lothal. They rendezvous with an escaping Ryder Azadi. Hi, Ryder. We like you.
Yes, we do.
You're just fine. Just fine as the ex-governor of Lothal, who uses a speeder chase. This scene was amazing, by the way. The speeder
It was
chase
really cool.
Fantastic. They're in the middle of to show how rebel spies have rigged the speeders coming out of the Lothal factory to malfunction after they go 190. We don't know what 190, but
190 mini parsecs.
Yeah, exactly. Some sort of space kilometer. Let's go with that. The idea comes from Mr. Sumar. Oh, this poor man. Our former farmer friend. Poor buddy. Ezra tells the Lothal-based rebels that he and Kanan are there for intel, so that they can use it to prioritize a larger rebellion action on Lothal. Their contact, Fulcrum, has indicated that the factory is working on a very secret Imperial project, so they decide to infiltrate to discover what it is. Awesome. I love an infiltration episode too. Kanan
Totally.
and Ezra infiltrate the factory, but it's a surprise inspection day. Oh no. Normal workers don't like these, but then we have poor Kanan and Ezra here. Kallus, Price, and Thrawn are all present, noting how this factory has a much higher malfunction rate than normal. Thrawn demonstrates by having Sumar personally test one of the speeders. Creepy as fuck. Which of course blows up.
This is one of those moments where like he knows exactly what's going to happen the entire time, and you
he
can
can't
tell
move. He'll
that
just
he
be
knows.
shot.
Yeah,
Or
but
he'll be
I mean like
interrogated.
Thrawn knows. It's like
Yes.
it's like when an interrogator is asking you a question they already know the answer to.
Yeah. Yep. Which I mean, and Sumar, like people will say, Sumar could have jumped off. Like, what was he doing? It's like, no, if he jumped off, he would have been interrogated and he would have turned over people who were part of the rebellion, and then he would have been killed anyway. So he knew that he was in a lose-lose situation, so he just stayed there.
Yeah, and he paid the price.
Oh my god, and his wife later, it's fine, everything's fine, nothing. Thrawn locks down the factory, conduct a thorough investigation, and comms are jammed, so Kanan can't signal Hera.
So using Chopper as a diversion, as they always end up doing. Like, guys, can we just skip to this part in the future? Like, Chopper go wreak havoc, and we'll just start there.
Yes, please.
Kanan and Ezra do manage to slip away to avoid getting their IDs checked.
Mhm.
They sneak off to discover whatever this mysterious project is, and Chopper, once again saving the day,
Mhm.
steals another droid's access codes and then promptly electrocutes it
Yes.
to go and be able to download the full specs.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Kallus, Price, and Thrawn are discussing these security breaches, and Kallus mentions, I mean, he can interrogate people, but he can't tell if they're lying if he doesn't actually know what the truth is. He doesn't know what this project is.
Right.
Price tells him all he needs to know is that Thrawn has a brand new fighter initiative.
Yep.
And then the Grand Admiral just pontificates about how, oh, the smallest of margins can win wars, and it's often the tiniest details, which
Mhm.
is true. But I was also like, dude, you are villain. You're starting a villain monologue.
Yeah. He gonna Thrawn go monologue.
Thrawn, you're too smart for this. Back at the base, Ryder does manage to contact Hera and tell her about the lockdown, so they decide the best thing that they can do is actually attack the factory at the East Gate to
Mhm.
create a diversion that'll allow Ezra and Kanan to slip out.
Yes. Back in Thrawn's office, hi. He's examining a piece of the wall from Lothal with Sabine's Phoenix graffiti on it. He deduces that since he has seen the symbol all over the place on Lothal, that the Ghost Crew has a special connection to the planet. Whoopsies. Like, great art, Sabine. Unfortunate that an art expert is here.
Yes.
Shit. And they will come back in the future, which is also true. List informs him that rather than apprehending rebels, they seem to have lost a couple. Poor Lieutenant List.
That's a great scene. He's like, have you managed to apprehend the rebels? Actually, we lost 2 of them.
Yeah, they're somewhere on the base. Maybe. Maybe, hopefully, poor Lieutenant List. We do kind of stand Lieutenant List on this podcast. Okay. Waiting on Chopper to finish his download, Kanan and Ezra are cornered by some troopers. They manage to slip away, but soon find themselves in a firefight. Shocking. They duck into a lift, and it's Kallus. Just Kallus. I love him so much. After the doors close, the ISB agent identifies himself as Fulcrum.
What?
I did not see this coming the first time I watched
No,
this
definitely
show.
not.
Like, oh, shit. All right, well done, Dave Filoni and crew. He aids them, like, rightfully skeptically, Kanan and Ezra are like,
how do we
sir.
know we could trust him? Like,
Yeah, how do we know we can trust you? Even with the code phrase, like, interesting.
he works in the information office. Like,
Yes. Like, this is the last person that we should be trusting for real right now. Fucking ISB. They get the comms back online, though. He earns himself a couple of force pushes for Ezra to make it look good.
but Kanan wanted to do that part.
He wanted to. He's like, oh, Ezra. And Ezra's like, what? Don't yell at me. I thought it looked fine. And he's like, no. Which, fair. Like,
Absolutely.
I've been the one to do it to Kallus. The rebels are attacking the factory, so Ezra and Kanan try to sneak off in a walker, but they are identified by Thrawn fairly easily. After stealing a bigger walker, well done, Ezra. I love Ryder too. He's like, that's got to be Ezra.
Yeah, I love it. Just like, I'm gonna hide behind the bigger walker so that the other bigger walker can't shoot me.
Mm-hmm. Which is a good plan when there's no other cover available.
Yeah,
like,
when you've got
he
the
pretty much
smaller,
did
more
what he had to do.
maneuverable thing.
When he's just like kind of sidestep. You're like, walkers don't do that. He's like, that's Bridger. Easy to identify. They deliver Chopper's intel to Hera and discover that this fighter initiative is for a special TIE fighter equipped with shields. Not good, friends. Something that could cause rebel pilots to lose a huge advantage because the normal TIEs do not have shields.
I don't think
Back
I
on
ever really
Lothal.
realized that the first time through. Like, we never really got like a TIE pilot's perspective in the movies or anything. So we've heard like X-wing pilots be like, "Oh, my rear deflectors have taken a hit,"
Mm-hmm.
and then of course TIEs just end up blowing up. But we never quite know if is it a one-shot thing? Is it do they just have weak shields? Like, whatever it is, I didn't know that they just don't have them.
They got nothing. The pilots are expendable, just like everything else in the Empire.
Yes.
Back on Lothal, we end with Thrawn musing over how the rebels escaped and concludes that there must be a spy.
A lot of threads connecting in his mind.
Too many.
Yes. All right, moving into visions and voices. So during a briefing, Ezra starts like seeing Maul all over the rebel base on Adelon. He eventually has like a total freak out and almost attacks a fellow soldier, thinking that it's Maul. Kanan brings him to Bendu for help, but not before getting Sabine to put a secret tracker in his wrist comm. I think, Ezra, I love you, but I don't fully trust you in this situation.
Fair.
Would do the same thing if Hondo was calling.
Yes. Yes.
But after Ezra tells Bendu about what happened with the holocrons, how they had connected, but he broke the connection pretty soon, Bendu reminds him he warned him of the dangers of
He's like,
putting
oh
the two
shit,
holocrons
you did
together.
that, huh?
Remember when I told you that it was really risky and you probably shouldn't do that? Guess what? Now that there is this connection between them, Ezra decides he wants to stop seeing Maul in his head, and Bendu's like, don't turn around then, because he's right behind you. And Maul actually is right there.
Yes.
Maul has come. He wants to take Ezra with him to complete a ritual that will meld their minds back together so they can complete the information transfer that they started with the holocrons. Kanan obviously and rightfully thinks that this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, not good.
But concedes that they really don't have much of a choice. Maul officially knows where Chopper Base is, and he has a dead man switch hooked up to a transmitter that will alert the Empire.
Yep.
Maul leaves with Ezra. Kanan and Sabine follow using that secret tracker.
Yes. Thank goodness. Oof. Maul takes Ezra to his home planet, Dathomir, and to his lair in a former home of the Night Sisters. Lots of great Clone Wars callbacks in this episode.
Lots.
Ezra notices a weird-looking lightsaber. What could that be? I don't know. A lightsaber that Maul has that he won't use. One that looks a little different, you know. Maul freaks out about Ezra touching his stuff, which is great. Like, oh, you don't want me to touch your trash? Okay. That's fine. But he does tell Ezra that his Mandalorian friend might have some answers about this particular lightsaber. Maul creates a potion and the two of them drink it at the altar of the Night Sisters. Everything's fine. The ritual is completed with both of them being pointed to Obi-Wan Kenobi on a planet with twin suns. Ooh, I wonder where that could be. But the spirits of the Night Sisters, they want their payment, guys. They don't work on like layaway. They pretty much want you to pay cash immediately. Yeah. In flesh and blood, obviously. Good job, Night Sisters. Ezra and Maul get away, but the trailing Sabine and Kanan are possessed by these ghosts of the Night Sisters. They plan on using them to rebuild their clan. Super freaky. Anything to do with like the magics and the Night Sisters has this like really strange, witchy connotation, and not in a good way. Like this is like the taking over people's bodies kind of way. Yeah. Not what you want to see in your Force Witches. We like Marin better from Jedi Fallen Order. But you know, Maul's like, this is fine.
Yeah, they got their payment. We got away. It's all good.
Yep. He reveals that they cannot step outside the cave as the altar is the source of their power. He begs Ezra to come with him.
He really does.
We're going to talk about this a lot later. He really wants Ezra to come with him to start their journey together as brothers. Wonder what we can unpack there, Maul. Ezra refuses, insisting that he needs to stay and help his friend. And Maul is like, he pulls the parental "I'm so disappointed in you" card, which rude. And he leaves. So Ezra goes back into the cave.
Yeah. Where he manages to get into a fight with the like spider crawling on the wall version of Sabine. It is so creepy. But he does manage to force push her outside of the cave, which causes the spirit to leave her body and go back to the altar. Ezra tells Sabine to stay right there. He's going to go in and he's going to try and save Kanan. Of course, she doesn't listen, but she also doesn't really have much of a part in this fight later either. Back up at the altar, Ezra offers himself up to the spirits, saying, "This is my debt to pay. Take me. I'm younger. I'm fitter. I'm not blind." You know. And the spirits agree. They leave Kanan, but as soon as they leave him, before they can get into Ezra, Ezra uses his own lightsaber and the dark saber that he's got in his hand to destroy the altar, which banishes the spirits,
Smart.
destroying the source of their power.
Mhm.
As everybody gets up and leaves the cave, Ezra tells Kanan about Obi-Wan, and Sabine picks up the dark saber, taking it with her. I wonder what that could mean.
Yes. Oh man, these 2 episodes though, freaking
Mm.
amazing.
Oh, they're so good.
Amazing. So good.
All right, let's move into our second holocron, the Will of the Force. This is where we discuss the theme or themes in today's episodes. So, Colleen, you want to start us off with the episode?
Heck yes. So episode 10, our theme is moves and counter moves. This is basically a big chess match that's happening in this episode. Thrawn proves just how ruthless and cunning he can be. Like, holy shit. He is just like pulling stuff out of his butt, but it's really not out of his butt. He really actually knows that this is what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
He's anticipating almost every move they make and showing us that he's really good at art appreciation. Like, he stayed after class and did the extra credit on this.
A lot of interpretation that he's making.
Yes, through the art. Like, I mean, yes, tactics, he can also deduce statistics from that. But he's like the ultimate chess player.
Mhm.
Really good that Kanan and Ezra don't know the rules. So they can kind of maneuver around him a little bit.
Mhm.
Be like, oh, that sign can't stop me. I can't read. Oh my God. Yes. Next, episode 11, Obsession and Trauma. This is a big episode for Maul. Like, really, really big. It's not explicitly stated in the episode, but he's obviously traumatized.
Mhm.
Like, we can trace his
He is
descent
fracturing.
into madness in this episode. This is like the beginning of the end for Maul's brain. Like, he's just gone. His obsession with power and keeping the power is the only driving force he has left, especially when Ezra turns down his plea for a partnership. You hate to see it.
Yes.
But it makes really great television, but it's also like, fuck, this is really sad.
Yeah. And it also feeds into a sort of different angle on our series theme of the chosen family.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, Maul breaks here. He
Yeah.
he shatters. And I think it's Ezra finally telling him straight up no. Because we start off, he's still calling Ezra my apprentice.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's Kanan who's like, it's not going to happen. And he says, yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Bitch.
But I mean, he breaks and he tells Ezra what he actually wants. But of course, it is mixed with serious aggression and the absolute inability to fully communicate what he wants. He doesn't know how to relate to people. He doesn't know how to talk to people.
No, not even a little bit.
No. But Maul wants a partner. He wants a connection with somebody. And he
Mhm.
lets slip that he wants Ezra to join him as a brother.
Yeah.
Maul watched Savage, his actual brother, die in his arms after
Mhm.
getting some time with him, but not too much.
No.
And we were not expecting him to reach out to Ezra in this way, in this manner, and show that kind of vulnerability.
Mhm. Wild.
Just insane.
For a character like Maul, it's insane.
In the Clone Wars, I mean, Maul's emotional instability is somewhat tempered by his brother when they're
Mhm.
together. Because I mean, Savage is just like very
It's like-
physical, very
Yeah.
mindless, almost.
Yeah, he's like a boulder. He's like an
Yeah.
anchor for Thrawn. Not Thrawn. Oh, I
But
love
for the
Thrawn
first
too. Anchor for
time-
Maul.
But for the first time, Maul had someone who wanted to be with him,
Mhm.
even though he still kind of exerted himself as the major dominant one. Maul's definitely the dominant. He's not the submissive.
No, he a dom. Maul
Yeah.
is a dom.
The master to Savage's apprentice.
Mhm.
Savage accepted his brother, pretty much the only person who has ever done that in Maul's life.
Yeah.
So Maul wants to recreate that feeling. He just has no idea how to go about doing it and cultivating that type of a relationship.
No, zero skills when it comes to this. Oh my god. Okay, next we're going into our third holocron where we go into the galaxy's populace. This is our characters and relationships. Andrews, do you want to take sexy hot Kallus?
I will discuss Kallus, yes.
Yay.
Start off, yes, Kallus. Fulcrum has been unveiled. It is so much fun after you know this to go back and watch season 3
Mhm.
And it's tough to catch, but his facial expressions have changed. His behavior is just subtly different from seasons 1 and 2.
Mhm.
He's much quieter and he's more watchful. He's seeing how terrible Price is. He's also asking a couple more questions, and you realize he's trying to gain information that he can then pass
Mhm.
on. And he's seeing how far Thrawn is willing to go to win, which
Yeah.
is pretty much all the way.
Yeah. Thrawn's in it to win it, folks.
Yeah. Kallus is still really rough around the edges when it comes to Kanan and Ezra, although he does prove to be an ally. Chopper, of course, is just like, sure, why not? Let's
Yeah.
trust this guy.
Yep. We're good.
And Ezra is rightfully like, that might not be a good thing. That's not necessarily a point in your favor, my guy.
No, we need to talk about this.
But that just might be because he wants to get the hell out of the factory. And if Kallus can help make that happen, great.
Yep.
Use the resources you have.
Yes.
It's going to be really interesting to watch where Kallus goes from here, though, because he is very entrenched in the Imperial machine. That'll get him the best intel, but it puts him in probably the most dangerous and precarious situation. He's walking an extremely fine line.
Mm-hmm. Which we will probably see later. My favorite, here we go, let the ship sail. I am a Kallus and Zeb shipper, everyone, for real. I love that Kallus brings up his connection to Zeb, and he uses the nickname instead of the full name. When he was in the Wedge episode, he said Gara Zeb Aurelios. Here is no like, nope, Zeb's my boy. Like, yes. And then I love Ezra freaking dropping that when you were stranded on that ice moon together.
Yeah.
Mom and Zeb
maybe,
was like embarrassed.
All right, so in that situation, Colleen, is Zeb or Kallus Jon Snow, and which one's he regret?
Oh my.
Stranded in the ice cave.
Can we stay in this cave forever? I'm guessing that Kallus would be the Jon Snow in this situation because of his his duties that he thinks that he is aligned with.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a really difficult call. They both probably could have used a bath in the waterfall pool in the cave, though, for sure. I do love Zeb, who's like, oopsies, I accidentally recruited him. He's so embarrassed.
He's like, my bad.
Like, I guess this is good, but also, whoops. Because it seems like he did not tell them anything.
No, he did not mention Kallus at all in the cave.
Because they are all super confused about this. Sabine had like an inkling that they had some sort of connection when he let them go.
Yeah, tells Zeb we're even. Like, they must have had something at some point.
Right. So she's like, all right, whatever. We don't need to talk about that. Oh, I love it so much. Let the ship sail, everyone. Anchors away. Okay, next. Maul, my boy, my danger snack. I love you so much. One of the most interesting characters in Star Wars, mostly because of Clone Wars and Rebels. We have so much to unpack for him in this episode. His villain lair in Dathomir, oh my god. To him knowing that he's like the last of his kind. This is like a psychoanalyst dream. They're like, yes, please, we need to study you and write many papers about what the fuck is wrong with you. He's like this loner who wishes deep down that he's not alone, which is really sad. But he has zero emotional intelligence, like none. Even though he understands emotions and knows how to use them against people, he doesn't know how to use that in his favor when he's trying to actually connect with somebody, unless he's trying to bend them to his will. But then he's drawn to these strong personalities who are not going to bend to his will. He's stuck in this endless cycle of trying to find it. Yes. He's trying to find an equal, a student, a friend. And we saw it with Ahsoka when he tried to recruit her as his apprentice. Like, he sees this strong person and is like, they can be my friend, but also I want to be the boss. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Buddy. This is not how this works. Speaking of which, Maul and Ezra, Maul's main mission was to destroy the Sith. Once that mission was basically gone, like he can't do it. He really just can't. He turned to that easy target, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
Once he knew Obi-Wan's alive, I think that's kind of where it really went.
And we see that when he's leaving after the Holocron incident, he's like giggling to himself. Very much
he has completely lost it. He is like regressed back to the trash planet. Like, Lothomir and her friends, let's go to the trash planet with the weird snake creatures. So he really wants Ezra to be his apprentice, though. He thinks that he can persuade him into it. He's like got this delusion in his head that he can make Ezra become his apprentice. It's impossible, considering their personality differences and the fact that Ezra, like, he has a larger mission. He isn't obsessed with taking out one person. He's obsessed with taking out evil.
Yes.
Like, yes, thank you, Ezra. Please do not join Maul. Maul doesn't understand at all that a person forges relationships but also has to nurture them. Like, he can start a relationship just fine, like he did with Ezra and Twilight of the Apprentice. He has the ability. He just doesn't have the ability to keep the people in
But when it comes
a
to
friendship
something, I mean, when it
relationship
comes to like recruitment on something like that, I mean, he was effectively just told, by Sidious, yes, you are my apprentice. You are
Yeah.
my assassin. That's your life.
Mhm.
Deal with it.
Yep. And he dealt with it as best as he could. It's really sad. He's like one of those people who thinks they deserve to be in other people's lives, but you don't automatically get to be in someone's life because you want to.
Right.
And it's like, I feel so bad for Maul because he was emotionally destroyed by Sidious as a very young child.
Yes.
I always like to think about things if he had been found by the Jedi instead. Or if Mother Talzin hadn't been a big old bitch and been like, here, Sidious, come to my planet, and here's my son, and also you could take him, but I don't really want you to take him, but okay, I guess, if you share your dark secrets with me. Like, Maul was basically fucked over by his real parent and his stand-in father figure.
Yep.
Like, mommy and daddy issues, here we go. Fuck. We're going to get into Maul more later, friends.
I'm sure we will.
He's like the never-ending fountain of just like, yay, let's just dissect the shit out of this character. Okay, next, we are going into our fourth holocron, which is Binding the Galaxy Together, in which we go over our homages and Easter eggs for these episodes. There's a couple of more in-depth ones.
Yeah.
For these episodes, there's a lot of stuff here. We're going to start out with the TIE Defender. This is Thrawn's secret project. What's going on in Lothal, friends? It's a new fighter model with shields and a hyperdrive. Seriously, if these things did go into mass production and became part of the Imperial fleet, the rebels would be fucked.
Definitely. Within a couple months.
Yeah. Yes. The Empire would have taken them out if Palpatine wasn't obsessed with giant gun. It's like, oh man, it would have been the one thing that would level the playing field between the fighters, because the X-Wings, A-Wings, Y-Wings, the B-Wings, they all have some sort of shielding. They have hyperdrives. The TIE fighters don't. Makes them lighter, makes them more maneuverable, but it puts them at a disadvantage.
Much easier to destroy.
Much easier to destroy. Yes, and even though there's tons of them, an A-Wing with shields still has a chance to take out a bunch of them without dying themselves. So, something bad is happening on Lothal, everybody.
And then we get into basically Easter egg corner. We have all of the art.
We have two of those today.
We have all of the art in Thrawn's office on Lothal. We've known that he studies art, that he studies other cultures, but here we just see it as full obsession. And there are a lot of really, really small details in this scene. So we start off with Sabine's starboard symbol that also has a little Lothcat art that shows that they are connected to Lothal. We did get a Lothcat sighting outside at one point. He has copies of Hera's family portrait that he had from that were in her house on Ryloth, and a very interesting Mandalorian piece that has the Mandalorian Jedi Tar Vizsla. That particular art was last seen in the Clone Wars when Sidious was dueling and eventually killed Savage Opress and took Maul captive.
Yep.
There's a statue from the Bardotan culture, which is a Force-attuned race that Jar Jar and Mace Windu helped out in Clone Wars. Queen Julia and Jar Jar, y'all. The guy can get it. Yeah.
He did, and he did get it.
We're bringing it up, and oh yeah.
Yep, Jar Jar Fox, one of the best things that ever came out of Clone Wars.
He also has a Jedi Sentinel mask that we saw in kind of the temple visions on Lothal in Kanan's arc, as well as Hera's Kalikori. So we have Kanan and Hera both represented right there on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, there's some interesting cave drawings too that have humanoids, looks like riding creatures that look an awful lot like wolves. Wonder if that'll come into play later.
I wonder. Oh my god. Dave Filoni
Everything in
doesn't like
Rebels
wolves at
comes
all.
back.
Everything in Rebels comes back. Everything. For real, though. No episode is a filler episode. Okay, next Easter egg frickin' corner is Maul's hideout on Dathomir. Another villain's lair, you guys. Like Thrawn, it seems that Maul is a collector. Differently, different collecting, still
Different
collecting.
reasons.
Whew, he's still got a lot of shit in there, though. It's like he's remaking the trash planet, kind of.
Yeah, a
He's
little
got,
bit.
he's got so much stuff in that cave. Instead of gaining knowledge, though, from these items, Maul hoards them and is basically obsessing about when he had power. He's not trying to change anything about himself or learn anything from the things he has. He's just hoarding them for his reflections on his former glory. Included in this cache of stuff is the portrait of Satine Kryze that was in the Clone Wars on Mandalore. Fucking creepy. Maul has slashed out her eyes and her throat on the painting, indicating that he was the one who killed her. But
Which he
also
was.
that he was. He doesn't want her to see him, though. Like, the scratching out of the eyes is very indicative of you don't want this person to see you,
Yeah.
which is also creepy. I'm not sure if that's like some deeply buried guilt manifesting or if he just thought that this was creepy. I think deep down he's probably like, yeah, probably shouldn't have killed her, but because that kind of started his decline a little bit when he killed her and like basically urged Obi-Wan to fight back harder.
Yep.
The worst thing though is freaking Kenobi is written in giant freaking letters that look like blood. Like on one of the walls. Like, damn. Maul, honey. Obi-Wan is living rent-free in Maul's head, y'all.
Yeah, he really is.
One other thing that was in that cave, though, Anders,
is the Darksaber
making its Rebels debut.
Making its Rebels debut. We saw it once or twice we saw it a couple times in the Clone Wars, and then it's playing a part right now in the Mandalorian. But this lightsaber was forged by Tar Vizsla, the very first Mandalorian Jedi. It showed up Clone Wars, Mandalorians, now Rebels. It's basically the Excalibur of the Star Wars universe. Primarily the Excalibur of Mandalore. Whoever wields it can claim to be the ruler of Mandalore. Other holders have been Maul, Bo-Katan Kryze, and Pre Vizsla.
For a very short time.
Very short time. That just did not go well for him.
Nothing went well for Pre once he decided that he was going to tell everyone that he was the leader of Death Watch.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack with Pre Vizsla also. Next, we have our returning characters. Yes, Flo, here we go. Lieutenant List and Sumar are back. And Sumar's wife also, who doesn't get a name, but she is there. These guys have been on Lothal this whole time, basically. One working to take down the Empire, the other its loyal stooge. We're a little bit at least like, okay, List looked shocked as fuck when Thrawn killed Sumar. Like, he looked surprised. Like, he's like, holy shit, I guess we're just killing people now. That seems totally fine.
That's fine. Everything's fine.
He's not shocked enough to quit, but at least he didn't smile like fucking Price did. Arinda Price, we hate you so much. The showrunners used the film, which is George Lucas film THX 1138, as inspiration when looking at Lothal's citizens as kind of this cog in the Imperial machine.
Yeah.
Because Sumar was a farmer. And so he was basically recruited to be a factory worker because he had no other choice.
Yeah, recruited is a pretty generous term there.
Yes, loose, very loose.
Conscripted.
Yes, yes.
Indentured. And then lastly, we are back on Dathomir. This is Maul's homeworld and the home of the Night Sisters, a clan of force-wielding witches. What happened to these very formidable women? Well, old white man Dooku and Grievous made sure most of them were killed during the Clone Wars.
Yep.
Their leader, Mother Talzin, hated the Sith, mostly because Sidious took her son Maul and then just kind of tossed him aside like garbage. but she also really craved power
Mm-hmm.
on multiple occasions, wanting to be the strongest in the galaxy. So she tried to kill Dooku, first by sending Ventress to assassinate him, then trying to take over his body. After that, he kind of decided that they were too much of a threat, so the Separatists invaded Dathomir and killed most of the Night Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Maul, who was born a member of the Night Brothers, is really one of the only Dathomirian Zybraks left during this point in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a couple others out there, but he used most of them up in his bid for power on Mandalore.
Yep. Mm.
And then we ultimately, as far as Night Sisters go, we don't know the ultimate fate of Merrin, who is the Night Sister from Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which I really hope that they either make a sequel to that game.
I think they are. I think they're in the process of making a sequel.
Okay, good, because I love her. She is awesome. She's like the foil for Cal Kestis, and he gets like that super Ezra energy where he's like, "Oh no, it's a girl." No girl. Oh my god. It's so good. I love that part of the game. Please give us more Merrin. I love the Night Sisters. I wish they were in a movie. I could do a whole Night Sisters movie.
Who knows? Maybe they were in that original draft of Rise of Skywalker. Like everything else good.
Everything else good that was taken from us was in the draft for the Rise of Skywalker. Oh my god. We're fine.
All right, everybody. Before we move into our next Holocron, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this week's sponsors. This episode of Bohemian Geek Studies is sponsored by Relief Factor. Pain from everyday living, exercise, or just kind of getting older is one of the leading causes of trips to the doctor and sleepless nights. It interferes with daily activities and can even keep us from spending time with the people we love. If you have everyday pain, it stands to reason you probably need something you can feel comfortable taking every day. That's why doctors invented 100% drug-free Relief Factor. Now, tens of thousands of customers use Relief Factor every day to become mostly or even completely pain-free. 100% drug-free Relief Factor features 4 key ingredients that each work on a different metabolic pathway to support your body's natural healing processes and respond to pain and inflammation. You can try Relief Factor 2. The 3-week quick start retail price of almost $70 is now available to our listeners for just $19.95. Head to the link in the show notes to find out more. Start your journey to better health and less pain today with Relief Factor.
We'd also like to tell you about Fiverr. Do you need a freelancer to help with your website, either a designer, or maybe you need someone to help write expert articles and blogs, or an expert presentation designer to help with that big work project? Look no further than the #1 freelance marketplace, Fiverr. You can find designers, programmers, and more within seconds, some for as low as $5 per gig. Fiverr is the ideal tool to help you with pressing projects. Just post your gig or search for freelancers and you're off. Don't deal with the hassle of finding freelancers by yourself. Let Fiverr help you. See the link in the show notes to get started. Please note, Bohemian Geek Studies is an affiliate partner of Fiverr. We may receive commissions on purchases and services that you buy after you click the link. These commissions help support the growth of Bohemian Geek Studies, and we appreciate your continued support. Now, everybody, we are heading into our 5th Holocron, the Newbie from Naboo. I'm so excited for these episodes.
These were good.
My heart went pitter-patter. Okay, this is Flo's first time watching Rebels. We've tasked her with watching the episodes, giving us her takes and her questions. So let's dig a little deeper into Agent Kallus this week and see what Flo had to say about these episodes.
You mean double Agent Kallus?
Oh, hot Kallus. We can now call him Hot Kallus too.
Man, he's like James Bond of space. Hello, Kallus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I took my notes on my phone this week, so that's why I'll be looking down at my phone. So sorry if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay, so the first thing that I noted, this just said, episode 10. Here we go. I'm ready. I'm just very excited.
An inside man.
An inside man. Inside flow, baby.
Anyway. I was waiting for that.
Come on, you just lobbed it right up to me.
Yep, that was a softball, baby, right there.
Okay, so the first thing that happened in this episode that I noted was there was a blockade.
Mhm.
And I forget who said it. Maybe Kanan said it's a blockade or something. But the only way I heard it was, it's a blockade. And I was like, Star Wars, you can't do this to me anymore. Okay, so then we find out that like there's sabotage happening in this plant, right?
Mhm.
And something's happening, but we're not like quite sure exactly what. But there's like an inside man who's very dead now.
Yes.
So dead.
Unfortunately.
Do you
Poor
remember
Mr.
him, Flo? He's from the first season.
No, I
Ezra.
definitely do not. I barely remembered Ryder.
I know. Ezra helped him escape from
The Imperials were like
Empire.
taking over the farms. And
Yeah,
they
they
took him
blew up his
Very
farm.
vaguely.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
blew up his farm,
So
basically.
everything in Rebels will come back. You have to remember stuff.
Okay, sorry.
No, you don't. I'll tell you.
I will just take even more notes. I'll be like, random person stage right will come back. Keep an eye on them.
There's a 75% chance that they will.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the Ryder coming back. Okay, so he came back and I was like, he looks familiar. They're talking about him like I should know who this is. And I
Mhm.
had to like dig into my memories to be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Ryder Azadi, former governor of Lothal.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the guy who like fought with them in like the canyons, right? And was like,
Yes.
I don't want to fight anymore. And then he was like, all right, never mind, I'll fight or whatever. Right?
Yes.
That guy?
Yes.
Mhm. The
Okay,
one you
so-
were like, I don't care about him. And I'm like,
I
that's
really
Yeah, you
fair.
were very
not.
distinctly, you were like, I don't care about this guy. Why do I have to care about him?
Okay, so spoiler, I still don't care about this guy at all.
That's fair.
He was kind of useless. Okay. So Kallus is there, obviously, and we get to him a lot later, but he is there with the other like creepy lady. What is she? Is she the
Nice.
new governor?
She's the governor. Yeah,
Yes.
Governor
Okay.
Price.
So she's really creepy. I really don't like her. Her bone structure is intense.
I hate him
Okay.
so much.
So then we get into the factory, right? So Ezra and Kanan like wear those like weird COVID time
Yeah.
face shields
Yes.
and hide in there. Very COVID safe.
Mhm.
Okay, and then like Thrawn is the scariest
Yes.
humanoid ever,
Yes.
where he's just like, he clearly knows who is sabotaging these speeders and like making
Mhm.
it so they'll explode at a certain speed. And he's just like, oh, like you inspected this one, didn't you? Like, hop on, friend. Right?
It's the creepiest thing.
That was the
Yes.
scariest thing I
Yes.
probably have ever seen in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Thrawn does some fucked up
He is,
psychological
and like,
torture shit.
and he has no affect about it.
None.
He just watched like disinterested, just like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, this person just exploded in front of me into a cajillion pieces.
Yes.
So that was pretty effed up.
Mhm.
Me no likey.
Yeah.
I literally wrote, wow, fuck you, Thrawn. So
Yes. Yeah, not a great look for Thrawn.
okay, but you know what was a great look? Kanan and Ezra punching stormtroopers and stealing their armor. They are the most incredible duo ever.
Yeah.
Like they work so when they're on, like they work so well together.
Mhm.
Yes. They're my
It's just like the
favorite.
cutest thing. I just
Mhm.
like loved it. The-
Ezra's like kind of at that age, like in like the whole father son thing. Like Ezra's at that age now where you like when you turn 21 and you're finally able to like hang out with like your dad and his
Yeah.
buddies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they're able to just like have more fun with you than they
We
were.
can drink now. Let's
We
go.
can drink now. We can hang out. We can actually like go places. Like you're not
Right.
watching me. We're just
Mhm.
actually having
Right.
fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that like Kanan is less supervising Ezra and more just like enjoying Ezra, which is like
Mhm.
really nice. I think you're totally
Yes.
right, Anders. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, so then they have to steal that like chip or like code from the droid, right? And give it to Chopper so they can get in.
Yeah.
That Imperial droid was so dumb. Like they were just like, you're not supposed to be here. Yoink. Like, what? That was like a little bit too easy. I feel like the Empire should have better security than that.
Yes.
Okay. So then there's Thrawn admiring the Phoenix Squadron art, which was really
Mhm.
cool. That was obviously you guys have like prepped me that like he likes art, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I feel like he's getting a lot more out of this art than he's like letting on. So
Yes,
he
always.
really freaks me out. I know you love him, Colleen, but
Oh yes.
he is really scary to me.
Rebels Thrawn is very Legends, like Heir to the
Okay.
Empire Thrawn. This is him like his cold, calculating side.
Okay.
And you get a little more of his like protagonist side in the canon trilogy. You never get much of his POV, which is
Okay.
really, really difficult. So you can't figure out his character very well.
He's just so guarded that
Yes.
it's just like you just are
There's a good
psychopath.
reason why he is.
I believe it, but it comes off very psychopath.
Yes.
He is very much a psychopath.
He's got
Okay.
some is going on with Thrawn. He's definitely
now-
neurodivergent.
Oh, definitely. Now let's talk about the last part of this episode. So this next note just says Kallus with like 17 S's at the end because I was like, what is happening? And then the note below that in all caps says, what the fuck, Kallus?
Yep.
Okay, so Kallus is Fulcrum or
Mhm.
a Fulcrum
Mhm.
Yeah.
has joined the resistance, the rebels. What are we calling them?
The
Rebellion, the
Rebellion.
rebels.
But is he technically in like Phoenix Squadron?
No,
Or
he's
is
an
he just,
informant.
He's like just
He's,
a
yeah, he's just the informant.
Okay.
He's
so,
what Ahsoka was, basically.
and this is all because Zeb was nice to him in an ice cave.
That
and
was
Constantine was mean to him when he got back.
Okay.
yeah, that was like the inciting incident that
Okay.
sort of started to crumble the
Mhm.
facade.
So do we
Yeah.
know how he managed this? Do we find out how he managed this eventually?
That's one of my questions for you later.
Oh, okay. I can't wait. Because I was just like, okay, so how long was there between the ice cave and here? Like a couple years? Like
6 months
Wait, that's
from
it?
6 months from the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 3. So it's maybe been
A
longer
year?
than 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere probably about a year to 18
Okay.
months ish.
Yeah.
okay,
Um,
interesting.
So he's been Fulcrum
Ooh.
for a while.
Okay. Excellent. Love it. Do we know like what kind of information Fulcrum has like passed along in that time?
Anytime they have mentioned Fulcrum,
I can't
Since
remember
Ahsoka's
'cause
been
I wasn't
gone,
paying attention.
I know. Anytime they have said that we got this information from Fulcrum, it's been Kallus.
It's
So
only been one or
Wedge
two.
defecting was
Yeah.
Kallus.
Okay.
Wedge or Kallus told them about that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. How would he? Okay. I guess like he went to visit.
Yeah, he's ISB, so he has access to a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly how he found out about the defectors.
What the hell is
but-
ISB?
It's the Imperial Security Bureau. They are like the super secret like spy agency, like
yeah.
NSA
Secret police.
NSA, but what the conspiracy theorists actually think the NSA are. That's the
Yeah.
ISB.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Mhm.
he has access to a lot of information, and I would assume at some point he came across something that would let him be in contact with even
Ahsoka?
just like a single rebel somebody.
That's my thought, is that Ahsoka may have vetted him before she died. That's my question, is who the fuck vetted him? Because no one in the Spectres knew that he was Fulcrum. So it's like, who authorized this? Was it Bail Organa? Was it Sato? Like, because that's pretty big. Somebody has to know it's him.
Sorry, Tio. Before she died.
Well, died in
Oh.
in the end of season 2.
Before the end of season 2.
Yeah,
She died.
we don't know.
Oh,
But we did
died.
see, I mean, we saw, you get that glimpse of her back walking, like back into
Mhm.
the temple. So,
oh, are we to assume that she died?
A lot of people thought she was dead.
yeah.
Oh, I like never assumed that she died. I just thought she.
Well,
was
you're
just, like,
also
chilling.
you're also to a point where, I mean, we've seen Mandalorian season
Oh,
2.
sure.
We
Yeah.
absolutely know for a fact that she's
In
still
between the seasons, people thought that she was
Interesting.
dead. Mhm.
Okay.
Dave Filoni caused a huge stir when he wore a shirt that said Ahsoka lives at one of the cons.
Mhm.
Like, he came out on stage and was just like,
Interesting.
Freak the fuck out. Mhm.
Okay, that's okay. I did not realize that that was a thing that people thought. Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. I loved Ezra throwing Kallus, and then Kanan was like, "I wanted to do that."
Yes.
That
What?
was
It looks believable.
hilarious. Oh
Yeah,
my
but
god,
I wanted to do it.
that was so funny. I love,
Mhm.
love that. My next note just says, and like, I don't actually remember what this applies to. I think it was when Thrawn was like, "There's an informant in our midst," and I just wrote like, "How does Thrawn know everything?" Like
He
it doesn't
does.
seem
He
possible.
doesn't know everything, but he is really good.
Jesus, like he is so good. Anyways, I
Mhm.
hope he thinks that it's that stupid Governor Price lady because I really hate her. So I hope he kills her. He can put her on a bike that blows up whenever.
They're kind
Thrawn
of
is just-
tight, unfortunately.
Thrawn is just really good at spotting like through lines and patterns. Like,
Yes,
okay,
he's
these
really
guys
good at
managed to get
pattern
away.
analysis.
They had their comms jammed, but somehow they managed to like kind of coordinate the attack from
Right.
the outside to cause a distraction. So they had to get their
Mhm.
comms back. That means that they had
Yep.
to have gotten access to some pretty sophisticated high security stuff,
Yeah.
which would
'Cause-
indicate that they
yeah.
probably had help.
Because Thrawn says, "Oh, they should have escaped via this like route already, but they haven't. So something's good."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like he's too good. He really freaks me out.
He's very good.
And then and then that was pretty much it. I just wrote Kanan and Ezra as a duo is the fucking best. That was
Yes.
my last note. It was just so
Mhm.
good.
Aren't you happy for more Kanan? Like after the last 3 episodes,
Yes.
we needed Kanan to be more in the
I really
forefront.
did. And I feel like before these episodes, it like really felt like Kanan was like an invalid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was like, no, like he still can go like and be active in missions, which is like,
Mhm.
that's what I needed to see. I didn't like just want
Yes.
Kanan to be like, I'm blind and now I just like sit in a control room or whatever. Like,
Right. He wouldn't be happy.
I
with
was a
that.
little it was really on this watch though that I was a little like my suspension of disbelief might be a little bit off here because yes, Kanan can effectively he can move around like fine.
mhm.
Like he's blind,
Yeah.
but he's not really blind anymore.
Right.
And they were wearing those like face shields or whatever, but I'm like, you know what? Kanan, you are one of the most wanted people in the Empire, probably as a Jedi.
Yeah.
And chances are you're gonna have to take that mask off inside the factory at some point.
Yeah.
Your
Mhm.
facial scarring is kind of a dead giveaway. Maybe
Mhm.
Ezra could like blend into a crowd, but you're
Yeah.
gonna stand out.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yes.
Like, was Kanan the best choice to go in on this infiltration?
He was the best choice for me.
Yes.
For my eyes.
Yes.
Well, Flo, he could be back like building their own factory instead.
And you
Well,
know what? He probably should be.
That
Maybe he
fucking
should
factory
like
was huge.
he should listen to an audiobook about like bomb building or something.
Take the internet course, my friend. Get on that HoloNet.
Get on it. Okay, so then we get into episode 11. Okay, so episode 11, super intense Harry Potter vibes.
Yes.
Harry
Very much
hearing the
so.
basilisks, Ezra seeing Maul, hearing Maul everywhere. Super creepy. Like
Yes.
so creepy. And like
Mhm.
you just felt so bad for him because you saw how panicked he was that he was seeing
Mhm.
things that other people weren't. Very like Harry with Voldemort visions, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like fainting constantly. So that was A, really sad, and B, like obviously fed my Harry Potter obsession. So
Yes.
Yes.
thank you, Rebels. I was kind of not surprised, but like disappointed in Zeb in this episode. I feel like he
Mhm.
was like really unsupportive of Ezra. And like I understand like
Yeah.
he wasn't there when like the whole like holocron thing was going on, like, and he is kind of detached from it. But like Ezra is clearly like going through something and is like kind of ill. Like he passed out and like it
Yeah.
was a problem. And he's just like, eh. So I was like, I feel like we've done like a lot of Zeb character development. And it was like,
Mhm.
this was a little bit too devil
Too-
may care.
Yeah, too big brother, like trying to be cool.
Yeah, and like Chopper too. When they were like nap time's over, it's like
yeah.
Yeah.
calm down. Like that's
Like,
unnecessary.
no.
I mean, Chopper's
that-
always a little bit of an asshole. Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I know, but it was like I felt really bad for Ezra in this episode. It was just like
Yes.
that was a lot to pile on him in like the
Yes.
first 3 minutes of the episode.
yeah.
Yeah. And they just don't get it. Like they have
Yeah.
It just, I mean, Zeb was kind of like, oh my God, Ezra, when he first passed out. And then Ezra wakes up and he's like, bootstraps.
That's right, exactly. And it was
Like,
like,
Jesus Christ.
okay, I don't know. So then I wrote AP5 is such a grump, like unbelievable. Just the worst hang, like such a tough hang.
Absolutely
Yes.
terrible hang.
Yes.
And then we get to see the other toughest hang, fucking Bendu, who makes me want to die every time I see him. This guy.
I love it so much.
No. He
No,
like,
I love how you react to it because I'm like, yes.
I hate him. Like they show up, they're like, hey, Bendu, like, do you have any advice for us, my dude? Because you're like a cajillion years old.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh yeah, weird shit going on, bros. And then they're like, he's like, oh, turn around. Like there he is, so weird. And then they're like, oh no, and he's disappeared.
It disappeared. Mm-hmm.
What a fucker. Like, are you
Yes.
kidding me?
He's in the middle. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's there.
But he couldn't even stay and watch?
No.
No.
No,
was
he
just
was
like,
out. He was
Guys,
like,
I got shit to
"This."
do. I've got like the crock pots on. Like I
I
gotta
don't
go.
know why this episode it made me think. I was actually kind of thinking about like how's Flo gonna react to seeing Bendu again, and I just saw him like the face is there, and it struck me that he reminds me of Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
Just
Yes,
kind of
I
like
know.
just kind of there, very flat, very just
Yes.
I'm gonna
Mhm.
speak.
It's just useless. He's just a useless character. And don't tell me that he's coming back and is like going to be some sort of like midichlorian factory or some dumbass shit. Like Bendu can just fall into a hole.
I mean,
All
he's
right,
not gonna
I
be
will
a midichlorian.
definitely not tell you that he will be a midichlorian factory.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. We will definitely not tell you that he will probably be back in some way.
Ugh. God, I hate that guy. Okay, so then Maul shows up, right? And you're like, so I still don't really understand if Maul was there or like if he was just like kind of like force connecting into Ezra's mind, kind of like
Uh,
Ben Ray.
At Bendu's place, he was actually there.
He was
Right.
there,
But I mean
yeah.
before that, because like
the
Ezra obviously
base-
heard him.
No,
Base,
that
he
was
not
like
there.
that was Harry Voldemort visions,
Yes.
Order of the Phoenix stuff going on.
Yes.
So like through the force communication.
Yes.
Mhm.
So like Ben Ray.
A little bit.
Not as
they're not a dyad
deliberate.
in the force, but it's like a forced
A forced
force-
force.
forced connection.
Forced dyad.
He was
Yes,
he
yeah.
was screwing with Ezra's head at that
Yes.
point.
Mhm.
Did we know that he could do that? I mean, have we
This
seen
is something
people do that?
special that happened because of the holocrons.
Got it. Okay.
Which you
okay,
probably
okay.
weren't paying attention to because Bendu's the one who explained it.
Okay, I paid a little attention, but I was also like, shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
But yes, you're probably right. I am very skewed against Bendu.
I don't blame you. He's a very like polarizing character. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here, Space Moose? Like,
He's
what's
just
going on?
really useless. Okay, so then I have an issue with Kanan
Okay.
because he just like lets Ezra go, and so like
Yes.
I understand that Ezra was being tracked, right? He had like the like, where's my phone thing
Yeah.
going on, Ezra.
Sabine's like, don't worry. We
Right.
low jacked him.
Exactly. So like I understand that like there was no super real danger, right? Because they knew where he was.
Mhm.
But it's also Maul, and like Maul is super dangerous. And Kanan just like left his son and was just like, yeah, go ahead, bud. Like it's
Yeah.
fine. Just like be back by midnight. Bye.
The
I
one thing
like-
about Maul is that he won't hurt Ezra. And Kanan can probably feel that. Like, Maul is very dangerous, and Ezra will probably be in danger, but not from Maul.
Yeah, and I like to. I was thinking about it, and I think I've kind of settled in my head that it's because Sabine says it like, why does Ezra keep trusting Maul? And Kanan's like, I'm not really sure he does. So I think once Kanan realized Maul was in the picture somehow, he realized that there was something going on with the Force here,
Mhm.
where Ezra's head was getting scrambled or
Poor
something.
baby.
He knew that at some point Ezra was going to have to go with Maul for something, whatever it happened to be.
Hmm.
That they were going to end up together again, and whether Ezra was going to be like incapable of resisting, or in the actual case, it ended up being that they really didn't have a choice. Maul was like holding them over the fire, like, I will alert the Empire that this is where your base is.
Yeah. That was pretty
Like
intense.
that there was gonna have to be
Big move.
something to happen that Kanan was gonna have to track Ezra down.
Yeah, but also like, why are we trusting Maul? Like he could
We're
get
not.
Ezra and
No.
tell the Empire.
He could, but he also doesn't want to draw too much attention from the
Yeah,
Empire to himself.
he's not really
I
he's already shown that he's not really a fan of the Empire itself. Like
I don't know. I just
I
like I,
do
don't
think
trust him.
Kanan should have gone with. Like Kanan should have pushed the issue a little bit and been like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been like, I'm his chaperone.
yeah, he can go with you, but also I'm also kind of
yeah.
So that was annoying. So then we end up on Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I watched my husband play Jedi Fallen Order. So I had seen some Dathomir things.
Dathomir, yes.
So I was like, okay, like I recognize this. I got this. Then we kind of like see Maul's collection of stuff is like Ariel's grotto treasure trove.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look
Where
at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Like, no, it's
Exactly.
terrifying, actually.
it is very terrifying. And then I just wrote dark saber question mark, but it is.
Yes,
yeah?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. My next note says Maul is super rapey. He's extremely rapey in this episode. Well, he's just
has
like, hey,
manipulation.
I made you a potion. Make sure you drink every drop. He's over here just like straight up slipping things into people's drinks and scaring the shit out of me. And it's just like, ugh, so he's really creepy.
He's very creepy.
Mhm.
Very
And he's
cool.
very he's getting more and more unstable.
Yes.
Like he
Yeah,
is
you
very
can
mood
tell.
swingy here.
You can track his descent.
He's just like
Yeah.
a crazy person. So anyways, he
Mhm.
freaks me out. And then of course they drink it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was very like polyjuice potion-y, where it's
Yeah.
just like, and then their eyes are like, "Ah!" which was very creepy. That really freaked me out.
hmm I
And
love the
then
magics. All the
that was
magics.
so weird. Everything was so weird. And then Kanan and Sabine get possessed.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes,
then
they
it
do.
It goes to shit.
Real fast. Because
So,
it's Maul. He's like, oh, don't let them touch you, by the way.
well, don't let them touch you, and also bye.
Yeah.
I'm out. I figured it out. Okay, see you later. And he just pieces out and just like leaves. It's
Yep.
like,
I mean, he took Ezra with him. He wasn't going to leave Ezra in the cave. Like,
he was pretty fucked up. Then
yes.
Spider Sabine was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. When she is climbing
yeah.
down that like
Yeah.
creepy column and it's just like, I hope that my mic picked up that very creepy sound.
I heard
It did.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
It was really creepy. It was like
Yeah. The Night Sisters are fucking scary.
They
so
really
scary.
are.
Mhm.
This was like horror movie. Like I was expecting like her
Yes.
head to swivel all the way around like an
Mhm.
owl.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
very scary. Okay, so all that's very, very scary. They end up getting unpossessed. And then of course, like what we thought about the desert planet with two suns, we find out is in fact Tatooine. We are looking for Obi-Wan. So that was exciting to just like
Mhm.
confirm that.
Yeah.
And then we see Sabine grabbing the Darksaber, which was
Mhm.
really exciting. So
Mhm.
I wonder what will happen with that. So yeah, overall, I really like these episodes. I thought they were really entertaining. I was not on my phone for them,
Mm-mm.
which was good. And yeah, I feel like a lot more forward momentum in terms of
Yes.
plot.
Mhm.
We're
and
heading
not-
into a big plot
okay,
bubble
good.
for this season.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I really, really liked them. I thought they were great. I'd give it like a
Yay.
8.5 out of 10.
Yay.
Really
So
good.
happy. So happy. I love it. These, like, heading at the end of season 3 starts to get real intense.
Yeah.
Like all the
Yeah.
character building stuff that happened in season 2 and the beginning of season 3 is starting to like really cycle into the story. I'm like,
Okay,
yes.
good. I really, really enjoyed these. So if it's more like this, we're good.
I think you're
Alright.
very much going to enjoy the next couple episodes.
Okay, I'm excited. Give me
Yeah.
all of Spy Kallus. Like, hello, sir.
There will be an
I-
episode coming up that is fucking amazing.
Is it called Spy Kallus?
It's very close to that.
Okay.
Very close to that. One of my favorite episodes.
Okay, I'm really
that one
excited.
coming up. Okay. Now that we're not done talking about Hot Kallus, we will talk about
Thank
him more.
God.
We're heading into our 6th Holocron, which is Conjecture at the Cantina. This is where we ask our questions about the episode and explore some wider Star Wars lore. What did Dave Filoni and crew have to say about these episodes? Well, I love watching the show Rebels Recon with Andy Gutierrez, who works for Star Wars. You get so many like little bits and pieces from the creators. They were talking about Maul's connection to Ezra. Flo asked about that. How did this happen? What exactly is going on? Maul and Ezra forged a connection when they joined the Holocrons. But when they split them apart too soon, they basically, a piece of each other is in each other's head.
Oh, so straight up Horcrux.
Straight
Yes.
up Horcruxing.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
After they were
They are
holocroning,
connected
they
like that.
started Horcruxing.
Yep.
I mean, who doesn't?
Don't we all?
They all immediately follow the other.
Yes. So because of this, Maul has that lingering presence in Ezra's mind, which of course he found a way to use against him.
Yeah.
Because that's what Maul does. The visions are completely manufactured by Maul.
Okay.
Like this is him actually doing the Voldemort thing. Like he finds out that the connection can be used this way, and so he uses it that way.
How did he find out?
He's very smart.
He is very smart. Like Maul is very smart and very adept at force manipulation. Kind of Palpy is the best at force manipulation, but Maul is also very good. And he knows Ezra pretty well.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
he knows how to push him the way he wants him to go.
I'm
Although
telling
the
you,
dog of those-
so rapey.
Yes. He has this tendency to want to dominate people no matter what. Even when he's trying to like forge an actual connection with someone, his brain just goes like a million paces back and it's like, no, I have to be the one in charge. And it's like, baby, no.
Time
stop.
and place, Maul. Time and place, baby.
He does not understand that.
No.
He was kidnapped when he was 4. He had no chance.
Fair.
Our
fair,
poor
fair.
little baby Maul. Pablo Hidalgo though said that even if they weren't connected, Maul is like that kind of trigger in Ezra's head. Like if he's really tired or overstressed, Maul is like that kind of dip towards the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
So and it makes Ezra anxious. So it's kind of like an anxiety attack. If he's when he's linked to Maul and thinking about it, I thought that was really cool. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, yay, Pablo, thank you for that. I think we already covered this, you guys. How did the rebellion vet Kallus? Like, what the fuck?
I would say like he probably found a way to connect with somebody.
Yes.
Don't know who it is, and started passing just like a little bit of information.
Mhm.
And as it was checking out, they would trust it more and more. And he finally gets to the point where they gave him
The code name.
kind of fulcrum status. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a specific secure communication line. I'm trying to think.
I know, because
Might have
they never explain this flow.
No, they never do.
explain it.
I'm trying to
Alright,
think.
so time for some
in-
fan fiction.
Some of the
Mhm.
books that I've read recently, they've had kind of like recruitment scenes.
Yeah.
Where it's literally just like two people who happen to come across each other like in a bar.
Yeah.
And that's how you kind of slowly recruit them.
And Ahsoka was pretty much accidentally recruited as the first fulcrum. I mean,
Bale was pretty explicit about what he wanted from her.
oh yes, definitely. But like he stumbled upon her. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like he was searching her out. Whereas Kallus, I think, reached out somehow to
Yeah.
the
And he
rebellion.
was just like, get me out of here. They don't love me, and I'm stuck in this like horrible bunk.
All I have is this rock.
Yeah.
So this is
So
our
sad.
engagement ring rock that we had on the ice move.
They're like penguins. Don't penguins do that?
Yeah, they have
Yeah, they give each other a rock on the ice planet.
I just feel like maybe there should have been a in-person meeting where it's just like, are you sure? Or like a polygraph or like a something.
They may have done something like that.
Borgullet, man. Freaking Saw Gerrera.
Yeah,
Oh God.
that would be smart.
Ooh, fucking terrifying.
Oh God.
I think he would have killed Kallus.
All right, my questions around these episodes. So as far as Inside Man, my one real question is actually, speaking of small things coming back, way, way back when we had that kind of scene where they had discovered that the Empire has like a 10 or like a 20-year plan for Lothal specifically.
Mhm.
Is that it's the TIE Defender program?
I think so.
Is the answer to that question? Like what are they planning?
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what
'Cause
it is.
Thrawn had this plan in place, like the kind of fighter he wanted.
Hmm.
And then he had to like bust his ass up the ranks, which he did very quickly.
And then Arenda
And,
Price
yeah.
was like, "Oh yes, come here."
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that bitch.
So I had
Mhm.
kind of like a problem with this like return to Lothal sort of situation, because I feel like we had just heard Ezra tell Space Justin Bieber, like, I had to leave my home too, bitch.
Mhm.
And then it's like literally the next episode, it's like, oh look, we're back on Lothal. And like we're not
Mhm.
even gonna mention it. So I don't know. I
Yes.
was kind of
They-
annoyed.
They have to leave Lothal again for a while because Thrawn's there, and now they're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
Thrawn's here.
Yeah,
But
but like I
Thrawn
didn't
has now
realize
deduced
that
that
they
they
could come back.
have. Thrawn has deduced that they have a connection to it. Like that's part of his
Yeah.
whole thing with the art. He's like, I've seen this symbol all over the place. It's more
Sure.
than just a single like rebellion thing. This place
Mhm.
means something to these people.
Man, he's
Damn
too
it.
good.
Yeah.
He's got like definitely a degree in art history.
Yes. Which most of the other Chiss do not understand. They think he's fucking weird.
Well, he is weird.
And then he
He's
beats
just
them in battle every time.
Real
That's
bad. Mhm. I mean, he
Doesn't
makes
make him not
mistakes.
weird.
No. I mean,
No.
he's definitely that weird kid in class who doesn't speak, but gets like 100% on all the exams, and the teachers love him, but also they're a little afraid of him.
Yeah.
He's definitely the kid who like wears his backpack super high and also wears a vest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thrawn totally wears vests until
Oh.
Arlani tells him not to.
Mhm.
He's a weirdo.
He is.
Yeah.
Weird. He is.
All right. So then my question's around kind of the second episode here. Colleen, do we know, is the rest of Dathomir still settled? Like we know that the Night Sisters and the Night Brothers were wiped out. Flo, that's another great Clone Wars arc when that happens.
Mhm.
Super
I'll check
sexy
it out.
Ventress, the assassin comes home
Yes.
and tries to
Okay.
defend it against Dooku, but
The
they
Night Sisters
they
are
just
hot.
wipe them out.
It's just a bunch of hot Force witches.
Yeah.
And then they try to fight back against shockingly, the men. The men
Yeah.
come for the Night Sisters, the powerful women, and try to crush them. Like, thank you, Star Wars. For giving
But
Where
they
us
have
were
I
the-
heard that?
Yeah, but they were not the only settlements on Dathomir. So
No, I think
Is-
there are still people there. The Night Sisters are gone. The Night Brothers, there might be a few left, but Maul kind of blew through them also
yeah.
during the Mandalore problem.
hmm
So it's there probably are not
Okay.
any,
So there's not that many Zabreks left.
not on Dathomir. They're on their home planet, but not
Mm,
on
okay.
Dathomir. Yeah, because the regular Zabreks don't do like the facial tattooing. That's the Night Brothers, who are Flo, basically just hanging out on this planet to breed with the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters are in charge, and they go and they choose a mate from the dudes, and are like, "You're all right, I guess."
The witches
So it's
choose
like
the horny
reverse
boys.
harem situation. Give me all the reverse harem situation.
Yes. So the men are always like learning how to fight and be warriors so that they can be worthy of the Night Sisters.
This sounds like heaven. How do I sign up to be a Night Sister?
Right? Like, oh dang, all these really hot built dudes.
Let's go. Man. Okay.
Mhm.
Fuck
And
that. Boom.
Ventress
I
is
want to go
like,
to
yeah.
Dathomir.
Oh yeah, Dathomir has some good things about it until
Okay.
they're all wiped out and turned into these weird steam monster things.
The steam and speaking of those steam monsters, is that Mother Talzin's spirit that
I
we see?
don't
Is it ever
think so.
identified?
I think she's destroyed in the Son of Dathomir comics.
Okay.
I think she's taken out after she does save her son. Fucking finally. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. If we the leader of the Night Sisters was Maul's mom.
Yes.
Yeah. Who? This was Scorpion leg time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when
she's the one who.
She
yeah,
took the scorpion legs and gave him the droid
and gave him
legs.
the regular droid legs.
Wow, such a
Mhm.
nice mom. Also, wait, Tio, can we talk about how when you were talking about baby Maul being taken away or whatever, I just
Mhm.
imagined a series like Muppet Babies, but with like Muppet
Yes.
Star Wars or like
Yes.
baby Star Wars.
Baby Maul kind of does look like a Muppet baby
Oh
in the
my God.
comic. He
So
looks so cute. He's just this little poor toddler that Sidious is like, bam, you got the Force, yoink, and
Man, that's-
takes him.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I would totally watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Give it to us, please.
Right now.
I would totally watch a baby Maul show, even though what happens to him is horrific.
Yeah, it would just be very dark. It'd be a
Yes.
dark baby show.
Yes.
But no, but it would be like okay, so let's plan this out here. Actually, if we're gonna do this,
Okay.
let's plan this. I see it as kind of like the Rugrats, but
Yes.
he's like sneaking around Sidious's castle on Mustafar.
Love it. Are
With
there
his one
other
droid
babies?
friend.
There might be a couple. I
mean,
mean,
There might be, but you never see them.
yeah.
Maul's only friend is a droid who Sidious then makes kill. Like, he makes him kill the droid.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So what if we just did like a spin-off where we just get like our all baby characters all together? Like what about the like weird baby that Ezra had to save that one time?
Yes,
Exactly.
the Ithorian
Yeah,
baby.
so let's get
Yeah.
that guy, a baby Maul.
That can
like
be Rusty.
a baby
Yes.
Ahsoka would be so cute.
Baby
Like,
Ahsoka's
oh,
very cute.
and then like a bunch of baby Ewoks. Adorable.
I think
The
we got an
show's
idea
gold.
here. I think we got this.
Gold.
Baby
Like, this could be
Tauntaun.
like a what if, like a Star Wars what if. Like, what if the Jedi rescued baby Maul?
What if there was just
Or they picked him up
one
first.
daycare center in the whole galaxy and we put all the cute little babies in there?
It's called the Jedi Academy. They are also baby stealers in a
There
way.
you go.
Yeah.
But at least they wouldn't have tortured Maul and turned him into a monster. Because Maul and Obi-Wan are close to the same age also.
Okay.
So they probably would have been contemporaries if they were at the Jedi Academy together.
If they were at the Jedi daycare.
Yep.
Yes.
hmm
All right. So my last question here is, what was Maul's plan for this price that he knew was coming? Like, because he did not know that Kanan and Sabine were gonna follow.
No.
And
I don't think
Colleen, you're
he-
right. He definitely didn't want Ezra to get hurt
No.
in that sense. But he knew that they were gonna ask this like price of flesh. Like, what
I
was
don't
his
think
plan?
I don't think he knew exactly what they were going to ask for. He knew there would be a price. But then he like just was like, oh well, we'll deal with that when it comes. And then he's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I feel like it's times like this when you like need to bring a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is where he would have been like, absolutely, Kanan, why don't you come with us?
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Come on,
Right,
Kanan.
exactly.
Hop on. We can totally go to Dathomir. It's fine.
So weird.
Yeah. I think Maul his brain is kind of fractured. So he knows the consequence, but he's not ready to deal with it whatsoever.
That's what
'Cause-
life in a dumpster will do to you.
True.
Kind of.
And he was there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
That's sucks.
Mhm. Poor Maul.
All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. So please tune in with us next time as we continue our season 3 coverage by heading back to one of Flo's absolute favorite locations and just hang out with the droids back at Chopper Base.
Mhm.
Are you serious right now?
You will find out.
Oh God.
Until then, please follow us wherever you get your podcasts and leave us those 5-star reviews. Check out our website, bohemiangeekstudies.com, where you can watch all of our episodes, enjoy Colleen's Book Corner, where she reviews Star Wars literature, and contact us through email and social media. As always, keep telling other Nerdy Knights to join us. That really does help. You can also head over to ForgottenEntertainment.com, check out all the offerings from the Forgotten Entertainment family, including yet another Star Wars podcast, where we just finished up our rewatch of all the films in the Star Wars canon.
Mhm.
Until next time, dark sabers up and keep those episodes streaming. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, I'm sure that Darksaber won't come up again either.
Yeah, never.